G'day guys, welcome to Scotch Down Under. I'm Ken.
That's you.
Oh, is it? I'm not Scotty.
I am.
So who are you?
I'm the cue ball, apparently.
Oh, there you go. So today, we're going to remember all of the whiskies that we've had in 2020 and give out our top 5.
I'd like to point out we're limiting it to stuff we've reviewed.
Yes.
Not whiskey that we've drunk, only whiskey that we've reviewed.
Because the whiskies we've drunk, the list is way too long.
Way too long, and there's some really knockout whiskies that we just haven't reviewed as of yet. They will be coming soon in the near future. So my top 5, I took a few times and changed the list a few times as well because I was like, nah, that should be it. And so I've got a few honourable mentions, and my first honourable mention is the Glenmorangie Arboralis. Now this went in my list, out of my list, in my list, out of my list. It got pushed out because there was a couple others that I just had to have in there. And the Arboralis, I remember, was a banging whiskey for the price. And you could introduce that to anybody. You could drink it any time of the day, any time of the year. And what you pay for it and what you get out of it is just a winner.
Nothing offensive, light, fresh, easy drinking, but some really nice solid flavour in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. And for the review of these episodes, they'll be up in here. And down in the bottom in the description, we'll list all these episodes that we review for our top 5 of 2020. So, another honourable mention is the Limeburners Darkest Winter. I wanted to put this in the list. I wanted to put it my number 1. But the price of it is a little bit hard to get, and also the availability. Like, it's great in Australia, you can easily get it, and some places in Germany, and there's a couple other places you can get it, but other than that, it's really hard to get hold of, and it is a batch release, so that kind of pushed it out. But I had to mention
it varies, obviously.
Yes.
I mean, that's the beauty of small batch whiskey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why we love it so much.
And all those batches are good.
Even across the rest of Australia, I reckon it's still a bit hard to get. It's just really good for us because we're like 8 hours away from the distillery. So.
Yes.
But you know, that's what the interwebs and mail order is for.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And one that I wanted to put in my list, but I've had this many a time, and I've had it before 2020, and it's my desert whiskey, and it's the Lagavulin 16, of course. You know, if it was the only whiskey I had to have for the rest of my life, that's going to be the one. So I had to put that as my honourable mention. And the next honourable mention I'm going to leave until I get into it in my list. So my number 5, because I love port, is the Glenmorangie Quinta Ruban 12-year-old. Not the 14, because we haven't done the comparison with that one, so the 12-year-old. When I first had this, I mean, it's Glenmorangie, awesome drop, not expensive, ticks all the boxes, and it is a really good port finish. It's not really light, it's not over rich, it is rich enough that it really gives you a really good bang, and that port flavour comes through really strongly. It's nice and sweet but not sickly. I reckon it's just a great dram all around when it comes to port. It's one of my top port finishes.
Really good mouthfeel too. Nice
It's nice and viscous and thick, and it's really good.
It's got some really nice richness and depth.
Yep. So it's going to be interesting to do that comparison against the 14 and 12. And there's a couple other port whiskies that are coming up and we'll be reviewing in the new year. That'll be quite interesting as well. Number 4 is the only Johnnie Walker that you should ever buy, and it's the green label. Now, I've had this before 2020, but I don't really record it that well, and when we tried it and we reviewed it, I'm like, that's right, this thing is damn good. You know, Johnnie Walker, you just like dismiss it, and then you wait a minute, this green label, you know, it's a proper blend of single malt. It is not some garbagey blend with grain and stuff, and they just put a fancy label on it, and everyone goes, oh, Johnnie Walker. This is actually a good one. Highly recommended. Great bang for the buck, and it's one you just should have. Definitely. I know it's one of your favourites.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yep. So
I mean, it's one of the best balanced blends in that nothing overpowers the other things that are in there.
Yeah, they all of those individual whiskies you can identify. And as we did in our review, the only one we didn't have, we could pick up the Talisker and the Craigellachie and stuff. The only one we didn't was the linkwood, but now we actually have some linkwood, so we can actually go back and visit and see if we can pick the linkwood out,
Yes.
which would be
Oh,
interesting.
if we have to.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be done. Yeah,
That's a bit of an arm twist.
it's just gonna be a struggle. So number 3 is the Bunnahabhain 12. I mean, this thing. I mean, it's Isla, but it's not peaty, but it's so rich. There's so much character, so much depth in that little bottle. I just had to put it on my list because it's a really good dram. I had it a couple nights ago after a couple other whiskies, and I thought, I feel like some Bunna, and I had it, and I went, yeah, this is good stuff. Highly recommend it. If you've never had any of the Bunnas, get yourself some. They're not the iconic peaty, Isla Dean. These are really characteristic whiskies. So
Yeah, the peated stuff that they do is something else too.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And then the next one, which we only just done recently, we did do the Whiskey Club edition, but the 18-year-old Loch Lomond is coming in at my number 2. And the main reason I put it in is being an 18-year-old, for the price you pay for it, plus it ticks all the boxes, and what you get out of that bottle, I just had to have it as my number 2. And every time I have it, I'm like, yeah, this is really good whiskey. So yeah, that would be definitely my number 2. And then my number 1, and also my honourable mention, is the Kilkerran 12. So this is the first time I tried a Campbelltown this year. And as soon as I tried the Kilkerran 12, I went, oh, so this is what Campbelltown was about. And obviously since I've had quite a few other Campbelltowns that we haven't reviewed yet, but the Kilkerran 12, bang for the buck, ticks all the boxes, awesome distillery, and what they've actually done in a recent amount of time, like they've only just brought out the 16-year-old, they've only been around for 16 years. Their history is really long, but what the actual Glengyle distillery has done is absolutely amazing. And then obviously we just did the Kilkerran 8, so that's my honourable mention, because that thing is, oh my god, whiskey. Now,
we all gave
Had a
that a
moment.
9.8.
yes, and had moments.
And I think I said something along the lines of, if it was more readily available and it was down sort of around that 130, 150 that it was when it was first launched, you'd give it an 11.
Yeah, totally.
It was just ridiculously
Yep,
good.
I was like, all the points I can give, you can have them all.
Yeah.
And some people have said that one, like, some people like the American cast more because it has more of the Kilkerran characteristics come through. They reckon that charring is a bit too much. Now, the next version that's coming out, that's going to be Oloroso Sherry, is going to be less charred. So that's coming out. That's coming out now, or early 2021. And supposedly we're going to get some in Australia. They're going to give us some.
That'd be good.
Yeah, so we need to get our hands on that. And I wouldn't mind actually trying.
Not us personally, but Australian retailers.
Yeah, Australia's going to be
if they were
allocated
going to give
some.
us some,
Well, please,
that'd be really
please
awesome.
do.
Just,
Yeah,
I mean, like, we're not asking much. Just one sea container, it's fine.
yeah, exactly. of both the original 8 and this new one. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we can compare. You have to do science for science.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
of course,
for sure. So that's my top 5 and my honourable mentions, and I reckon next year there's going to be some amazing whiskies that we're going to be trying.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Oh,
I've already
yes.
got one in mind.
No, but there's quite a few and I've got in mind, and I can't wait.
There's a couple that I've been eyeing off up there for a while. And it's like, come on, fellas, the patience is starting to run a little thin here.
Yeah, there's only so many episodes we can do, but yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Well, that's it.
And if there's any whiskies you want us to try, let us know down below. And we'll see you on the flip side in 2021. What?
So lame.
To be honest, it sounds like something I would say, not you.
Alright.
Okay, so that's my top 5 for 2020. And I'm looking forward to the next ones that we're going to be having in the future. Until next time,
Have a good one.
Have a
good one.
Why that set me off so bad?
I don't know either. It just completely